Yesterday, I did a video on how all top 20 of the North American comic book graphic novel sales were all made up of Japanese manga. You can see it right here. Every single one of them is from Japan. This is probably American comics' greatest failure, in my opinion. And there's so many factors that have led to this. One being how a fringe group pretty much took over the comic book industry and made it a bottom-up industry. People that have the least amount of talent, but the biggest mouths. They get to have all of the power. People with the most talent, they should be the ones that are kind of calling the shots in the comic book industry, but that's not how it works. You have these people that have never even worked for Marvel or DC calling the shots and saying how things need to be ran, and they've literally ran the industry into the ground. They really have. It's a frail shadow of what it used to be years ago. It really is. It's no longer about telling really good stories or developing really good characters. It's all about telling a political message, and nobody cares about that. Now, comics could still be great. You see it right here with My Hero Academia at number 1 on this chart. It's on the chart several times, in fact, telling you that people still want superhero stories, but they're not getting them. They're not getting them from American writers and artists. They're getting them from Japanese talent. And that's not going to change anytime soon. In fact, I'm almost to the point now where I think it's irreversible, and American comics are just going to continue their downward spiral into oblivion. But one of the greatest examples, I think, of this bottom-up industry happened the other day with J. Scott Campbell. I did a video on this. I didn't follow up because there's been several things that have happened in this situation. But a quick TLDR, the man who drew this famous cover, which is constantly being attacked by the fringe group that pretty much dominates comic books at this point. They're pretty much always like, where are her organs and all that stuff. So these kind of designs of women, they want these gone. Even though you can find them all day in Japan, which is one of the reasons why that medium is blowing up. Well, I mean, worldwide anyway. You're not getting this from the West. The male gaze has been defeated, everyone, except for people like J. Scott Campbell who still draw it. So he was fighting back for a minute, and then as Heel versus Babyface said in his video, he did like a 45-minute video on this. It's very good. The phone call came. And that phone call came from somebody in that group that runs comics. He said, listen, we'd hate for you to lose your career, sir. So he immediately went after CG and started calling them a hate group and all that stuff, the typical stuff, even though I know he knows that's a lie because he watched and posted the links of several people who made videos defending him. And he even called the people that were coming after him Puritans. And I know he's watching a lot of our content if he's using that because I coined that phrase. Twitter Puritans, who constantly go after women and anything that's sexual. So he walked that back, posted a big long statement, and pretty much doubled down and bent the knee and kissed the shoe of the Puritans on Twitter and the fringe group that's pretty much destroyed comic books. And he got a lot of backlash before that, and he didn't quite understand why that was coming, and people were coming after him. He's like, well, I'm only saying this if you have a problem with me saying I'm standing up against bigotry and all this stuff, why are you identifying with that? And as Heel versus Babyface said, no, we're not standing with that stuff. All we want are good comics and good artwork. But we're tired of being called Yahtzees and istophobes because we just want this stuff and we don't want this weird garbage that people have been putting out for the past couple of years. And people are sick of people like you trashing us. So he actually did something that I didn't see coming. Is he actually came in and reposted a clarification, as he said, and said, look, my bad. It's a big, long statement, and I don't want to read the whole thing. But he did kind of walk it back in his post and said, okay, there's some individuals and members of this community that insist that that's not how they are, and they seem very passionate about comics, and I'm inclined to believe them. Now, this would have been a lot better if he had just not bent the knee and called them istophobes in the first place, but I at least like that he was like, you know what? I'm going to not go down this road, and I'm going to apologize. And you know what? I can accept that apology. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes with people like this, we need to be a little bit better. Most of the time, they never do this. And they'll double down, and they'll go after us even more. But Scott here is actually admitting that he was wrong and apologizing, which I'm sure will get him vilified even more by the fringe group that's pretty much ruining comics. I was shocked that he came out and did this because I'm pretty sure he got another phone call after he apologized. Pretty sure he did. But, it's like, Scott, why are you doing that? They're going to keep coming after you. They're never going to stop coming after you. Why do you keep bending your knee to these people? I mean, these kind of drawings right here, this drawing of Black Cat, this isn't allowed anymore. This drawing of the amazing Mary Jane, these aren't allowed anymore. Okay? You're not allowed to draw women like this anymore in mainstream comic books. Just not. So it's like, either get off social media and stop answering the phone when they call you, or just go independent. That doesn't mean you have to join a group. You can just put stuff out by yourself. All you got to do is put out good stuff and treat people right, and they'll support you. But these weirdos on Twitter that you, for a brief moment, made the mistake of apologizing to when you never should, they're not going to buy your stuff. All they do is pirate stuff. Anyway, what do you think about all of this? Are you willing to let bygones be bygones now that he's apologized, or are you done? I'd like to hear what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.